Hey, it's Johnny, and it's time to preview St. Joe Bears football with Brett Witkowski. St. Joe Bears football preview available to you all season thanks to our friends at Lazer Graphics. Give them the stuff they want from Lazer Graphics. Go to their website, lazergraphics.com. That's laser with a Z. And Brett, St. Joe Bears looking good, 3-0. How do you feel about the team? How they're looking? It seems like they've been hitting on all cylinders.
Looking real good. Right now they have given their first three opponents their only losses of the season with Niles, Edwardsburg, and surprisingly, Kalamazoo-Loy Norks. Kalamazoo-Loy Norks was 2-0 coming into last week. St. Joe took over that game from start to finish, scored within the first minute of the ball game. From there, defense flew around. The second, third, and probably even some 4-unit defenders got playing time starting in the second quarter and played the entire second half. And then a lot of the offense was in the same boat where most of the entire second, third unit played in the second half. And, it does one of two things. One, it prevents injuries of your starters. Two, it gives real film for the coaches to analyze of the backups because they're one play away from being a starter. If someone gets hurt, they could be next year's starters, etc. And then also the last thing is, to me, it always helps the next day's practice. When you get 70 guys who got into the game, which I think that was the case on Friday, that can only help Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays practices.
Yeah, and having these tough opponents even in the beginning of the season and being able to still be able to get some of those second, third guys into the game and getting that game experience, I think really prepares them for the whole entire season, because if somebody goes down, your next man up is prepared and not just been waiting for that opportunity. They've actually gotten those opportunities to get into the game. So that's really helpful as they get into this second part of the season, and they go up against Gull Lake. So Gull Lake 0-3. So is this going to be another chance for some of those possibly those second, third stringers to get some playing time?
At least on paper, it looks that way. They've been outscored 90+ to 0 the last two games. So Gull Lake's a program like Loy Norks, first year back in the SMAC conference, and little kudos out to Loy Norks. They're not going to win 7 or 8 games. I think they can win 4 or 5, but it was not the Loy Norks of old. They were disciplined. They didn't have a bunch of foolish penalties. They had decent numbers. They've got some good athletes, which I think everybody's always thought they would have. So Loy Norks, which, boy, if they won 5 games in the conference the last 20 years, the last 10 years, that'd be a lot. They're going to pick up some wins. But Gull Lake is a program like Loy Norks, coming back from being out of the SMAC for a couple of years, trying to rebuild a program that really is it's more of schools are kind of known for 1 or 2 sports, right?
Right.
And St. Joe's known more for football, Ben Harbor like in basketball, things like that. Gull Lake's known for soccer.
Yeah.
And so a lot of their good athletes play soccer. They've won state titles, and they don't go to the football side. They got a new head coach trying to get things turned around. And, to me, Johnny, it's easier to start a program than to rebuild a program. Because when you rebuild the program, you have so many negative people around the school, around the kids, that it takes a lot to convince people that it can get changed. And
Absolutely.
I mean, you've seen sports enough. You get that. And it's usually not the kids who are the downers. It's the adults around the program. Yeah. And so I'm not saying that's necessarily the case in Gull Lake, but he's got his work cut out for him. It's going to take more than 1 year to rebuild that program. But they got 1,000 kids. They're in about the same size and mirrors of a St. Joe and Lakeshore as a community. Of the 2 divisions, the East Division is the weaker of the 2 in the conference. So then they're on the right side. What's interesting, and I had to remind people of that, the games against Loy Norks and Gull Lake do not count as conference games. They are technically non-conference games. So St. Joe is still not played a divisional game, which they will. So, on paper, St. Joe should dominate, but paper doesn't produce who wins or loses. As you know, it comes down to what happens on the field. The one thing St. Joe definitely has to clean up is the turnovers. They had 3 of them last week, and you get against an opponent that can take advantage of those. And St. Joe could be chasing a good team here shortly. But, I've said it the last 2 weeks. I'll say again, this team has a shot, St. Joe, to go 9-0 in the regular season.
Yeah, I think, as you said, this is one of those moments. It's when you have a team that you're going against, whatever it may be. They're 0-3, they're 3-0, whatever their record is, does not matter. You are essentially playing against yourself. You want to make sure that you minimize mistakes, you execute the way you're supposed to, and if you do that, you win. The scoreboard doesn't quite matter. It could be 60-0, or it could be, whatever the score may be. But if you look at any mistakes, and like you said, if they don't make any of those mistakes, they execute, this will be a great game and a successful win for them. So looking forward to this game. We'll have a pregame right around 6:30 for you guys, right?
Yep, we'll be there at 5, but we'll hit the air at 6:30.
Well, looking forward to
it.
And
then Dave Wolf and I will do the Facebook, YouTube wrap up after the game. The one thing I'll say for the St. Joe coaches is the young men on that St. Joe sideline are focused. One thing you see, and you've been up top with us, Johnny, you can see when teams are disorganized, joking around. The only time you see St. Joe players not with their helmets on is when they are ran out of their fifth quarter. That's so the coaches know Johnny can't go into the game because his helmet's not on because he's got no more quarters left. And so St. Joe's, I'm telling you what, you watch from up top, those young men, whether they're playing 1 quarter or 4, they are into the game mentally. And that's a credit to the coaching staff. And it's, starts at top and it goes through. Those young men are studious, and that's how you get better.
Absolutely.
You're not asking like, I think it was Seattle Seahawks back in the day when John Mann was doing the preseason game. One of the players was asking for a hot dog. You remember that?
I think so.
They delivered the hot dogs in Rick Meyer's helmet. That's what it was. They delivered the hot dogs in Rick Meyer's helmet. No hot dog eating there. Might be upstairs some hot dog eating, but no hot dog eating on the sideline there.
No, you make a great point, and I did notice that when I was looking at the sideline, every single helmet was on, every set of eyes was focused on what was going on the field, and you don't always see that. So to have that focus, they're ready to go whenever their number's called. So looking forward to that. We know your number's called, and you'll be there. 6:30. We'll have the game. We'll have the pregame. We'll have the postgame. We'll have the whole game right here on 94.9 WSJM. Looking forward to it. Enjoy the quick road trip to Gull Lake, and we'll talk to you again soon, Brett.
Take care, Johnny.
Your Lake or your St. Joe Bears.
Oh my goodness! You're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
Now later.
You're fired. Well, then on the Lakeshore broadcast, I want you to say "Go Bears."
I will do that.
I'm going to listen and I want equal time.
Your St. Joe Bears football preview is brought to you by our friends at
Lazer.
With
some enthusiasm now.
Go to LazerGraphics. Brett Witkowski, the man, the myth.
No, I want you to say "Go Bears" with enthusiasm.
Go Bears.
There you go.
All right. Your preview is brought to you by Lazer Graphics. Give them the stuff they want from Lazer Graphics. Go to lazergraphics.com. That's Lazer with a Z. We'll actually have that St. Joe and Lakeshore preview coming up here very soon when they play against them. So
next week.
Yeah. We'll talk to you again then.